Getting in that ring is a lot of fear, and getting past that. I need fear to fight. I fight better with fear.
First of all, for people who don't know, just introduce yourself and what you do.
So I'm Jonathan Haggerty, former 1 flyweight world champion, 3 times Muay Thai world champion, and yeah.
Whereabouts was you born?
St Thomas's, London.
Okay, and what? Just we've got quite a big American audience. Like, how would you describe that to Americans?
UK born and raised. Yeah, just UK born and raised.
Is it like what's the area like?
I grew up in areas kind of rough around here, and all of my friends sort of went the wrong path, but I sort of kept on the straight and narrow, thanks to my parents opening up a gym, so it kept me on the right path. It's a bit rough and ready around here.
Yeah, did you find yourself in trouble as a kid, or?
I was sort of the smart one, you know. I tend to walk off sometimes.
Okay, so and then you see your parents as well. So your father opened a Muay Thai gym. So was he involved in the sport himself?
So yeah, my dad was an MMA fighter originally, and that's what got me into it. He sort of opened up his own gym, and I followed in his footsteps.
And what age roughly did you start?
So I was about 7, 6. So soon as, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's mad. So my son is just about to turn 5. So I mean, if a couple of years' time, if I could see him kicking,
I recommend it. I do recommend it.
Okay, I'll bear it in mind. I mean, what's that like as a kid going into, you know, your dad's gym, like seeing all these guys, probably, you know, looked like giants at the time. Was it scary? What was that first experience
a bit nerve-wracking, intimidating, but once I got into the swing of things, I sort of picked it up on the way.
And your dad himself, like, what was did he speak about like his reasoning behind getting you in the gym and stuff?
I think originally he wanted to get to the top, but when I was born, and my little brother, obviously my sisters as well, he sort of pushed me towards that goal, if you know what I mean. So I thought, I'm done now. He thought, let me push my sons up there.
Okay, and whenabouts did it turn, like, you know, the serious switch came on? You was like, oh shit, I'm good at this. This is something I can do. So
as a junior, I didn't have much fights. In Thai boxing, juniors normally have loads of fights, like literally 100 fights, juniors. I had about 4, and then I got pushed into taking my shin guards off, get pushed straight into the swing of things, and then I started fighting men at a young age. And my dad wasn't very keen on it, but my trainer was he knew I could do it, so he pushed me. And then from then onwards, I started knocking him out. And then it sort of started getting real, started getting into the rankings with men when I was like 17, 18. I remember one time I had to lie about my age to fight a man. And yeah, I just started knocking people out, mate, really, honestly. And that was it. I just knew from then that's what I wanted to do.
I mean, so as a young, so what age did you start fighting men at?
So about 17, about 16, 17.
Right, okay. So what was that experience like, stepping into doing that?
So it was nerve-wracking again. You know, they got their manpower, man strength, but my team believed in me. I didn't really believe in me that time when I was 16, 17 fighting men, but the confidence started building when I started knocking them out, getting them out in the first round, and just from then onwards.
Okay, so for somebody who's not into Muay Thai, how would you describe the sport?
Beautiful, the best. Muay Thai is the art, we call it the art of 8 limbs. You've got your feet, your knees, your elbows, your punches, everything really. It's beautiful, good sport. It's a respectful sport as well, you know, there's that respect behind it, tradition. I advise everyone to watch Muay Thai. They'll love it, they'll fall in love like I did.
Would you call it a brutal sport? Because it looks fairly
Very brutal. It's basically, what I'd describe it as just stand and have it. You know, it's 5 rounds toe to toe, elbows. Elbows as well is just game changer. You know, you have to be aware all the time. You can't just sit in the pocket, because one elbow just slip through. It's a game changer.
What's the culture like around the sport?
I've been to Thailand a few times, about 5 times now, and you really have to go to Thailand to experience it and see behind the scenes. Like I said, everyone's respectful, there's no ego. Muay Thai, there's no ego whatsoever. You know, it's not like boxing, it's all like Muay Thai, everyone respects everyone. And that's it really. It's the main thing, respecting everyone.
Not trying to put anyone off it, like what's, like as a youngster, injuries, stuff like that, like is there anything that happened like reoccurring for yourself?
You can get injury, you tend to pick up injuries. I've been sort of lucky. I've sort of gone injury free throughout a few years. But I say the downfall with Muay Thai, I would say one thing is the pay, the money wise. So brutal, but obviously there's no pay behind it until you reach the pinnacle, if you know what I mean.
So how do you go in for it, knowing that the pinnacle's so far away, but you've got this long journey ahead of yourself to do it for basically no money? Like how do you get into the mindset of doing that?
You just got to believe in yourself, you know. And I grew up with everyone, but around me, my team around me kept like pushing it into my ears. You're the one, like you're going to be the best. And from then onwards, I just thought I'm going to go to the top. I was knocking everyone out really, and from then onwards, I thought sky's the limit. And then they started pushing in the best fighters in the world against me. I had 14 fights, and then there was all the promotions were getting me to fight the best Thais in the world. And in my head, when they was offering me these fights, I was thinking, no, I don't want to fight. I had 14 fights, I was still basically a beginner. But then I took them, and I took risks, and I prospered. So that's the main thing.
Early on, biggest career, like defining moment for you, what was the early on part?
Early on, becoming UK #1, defeating the #1 opponent. He was #1 for 10 years. Again, nobody believed in me and thought, oh, I'm just still a kid. I think I still had braces on. And I got in there and I stopped him in round 2. And I think that's when everyone started to believe, like, this guy's the real deal.
Okay, so you had belief around you. How much of it was coming down to self-belief at that point?
Like I said, when I was young at that age, I didn't really have the confidence, knowing I was coming up against men. You know, fighting men at such a young age, it was sort of like a bit of a scary sort of thing. But then the confidence started building as I started winning, started building, and then just from then onwards, that was it.
How would you paint a picture for the first big fight that you had? Like, how would you paint a picture, like the description of, like, you know, nobody in this room, or most people not watching this, are never going to step in that ring in front of a crowd. Like, what was that moment like? How would you describe it? So the best way to describe it is the night before, you can't sleep at all. You know, I woke up the next morning, one of these fights against one of the best Thais in the world. I woke up that morning to fight. I had no speech. I was so nervous, I couldn't speak. Like, I had no speech. And then as soon as you get into the arena, you're in the back room and you can smell the Thai oil, and like the oil you warm up with. As soon as you smell that and you see other people warming up, you think, yeah, it's game on now. There's no going back. You want to run out, you can't. You just got to get on with it. And then, so now you're stepping up to the stage to walk out to the fight, the crowd of like 1,000, 1,500 people. And it's very nerve-wracking. It's very nerve-wracking. But as soon as you step over them ropes and you touch gloves, you've got no feeling in your body. They hit you, you can't feel it. You hit them, you can't feel it one thing. You can just about hear anything, apart from my coach, Knowles. He's got the biggest mouth in the room. And that's all I hear. And then it's just go time from there. Killer instinct just kick in. Fucking hell.
Just killer instincts. Yeah. Eyes just go on the target.
So the pain, does, you know, going through the rounds, does that eventually start to seep back in?
Like I said, I don't feel anything in there. Like, you literally don't. You won't believe it, obviously, but it's after the fight you feel it. I've had one fight before, I had an elbow war. So I woke up the next morning, I couldn't even straighten my arms. Like, my arms were just locked because of swelling, feet. It's just brutal. Okay, so
what's the journey from, let's say, #1 in UK to one championship? Like, what's that path? How do you do it? What was your journey as well?
So becoming UK #1, sort of I hit it off from there, and I think it's basically just like scouting, you know. Talk of the town, who's the talk of the town in the UK? And at that time, it was me and Liam Harrison. He's signed to one championship. I got signed like 3 years ago to One Championship, and then I had my debut. And as I had my debut, the knockout that I had on there, it just went through the roof. Like, social media went crazy. I think the video went viral, the elbow, and after that they gave me the title shot.
So, young guy, obsessed with the sport, looking forward at One Championship. What's that moment like when you get the call? It
was, I thought my trainer was lying to me, because I remember before I messaged One Championship like a few years ago saying, great show. I've still got the DM on my phone. Great show, I would love to be a part of it one day. Didn't get back to me, unfortunately. But then they realised, and then, so when I won the world title now, I went back onto our chat on One Championship, and I looked at that message saying I'd love to be a part of it. And that's when it comes surreal. Like, I knew what I wanted and I achieved it.
We talk about manifestation, you know, like believing you're gonna have something, and then when you arrive there, there's like, it almost feels like it's just supposed to happen. This is the way it's supposed to be. So when they call your name and you get that belt, like what was that moment like? So when they said, and the new, so throughout training camp, that was the saying, like my trainer would egg me on, and the new world champion. And it just stuck in my head and I thought, I got this. I probably had about 5% chance winning that fight. And like I said, nobody believed I was gonna win that fight. But I studied him for a long, long time. Growing up, I watched this guy, Sam A. Big respect to him, he's the legend. And I was very confident. I shouldn't have been confident because I had 15 fights. I should have been cacking my pants really, but I was so confident. And yeah, took it with both hands. You know, what was that like when you raised it in the air? Unreal. I had my family there, my granddad, my friends. I came out to Singapore. For my granddad to be there, he's my #1 fan, my granddad. And to win in front of him, to win in front of everyone really. The best thing was the gold confetti at the end when it just came down. I just thought, I had a broken nose as well. Broke my nose in the second round, I couldn't breathe. And my trainer was laughing at me in the corner, my dad was laughing at me in the corner, get on with it, I'm like, I can't breathe out my nose. So I just thought, I've got to get on with it now. And the best night of my life. Is that the video of you lying on the floor in the confetti? Yeah, what would we call it, the confetti angel. Yeah. I said I was going to do that as well. In training, I said I was going to do that. So what's your predictions now? Like, what are you saying now? The goal is to get my One Championship belt back, obviously. And I've got a few steps to climb. I'm on my way. I'm on my way there, and I'll get there eventually. So from the highs of holding the belt, how would you describe having that taken away from you? So I won the belt, and then I called out the best in the world, because I think if you're going to be the best, you've got to fight the best. People must have thought I was mad when I called out Rotang Jitmongnon, the most feared Thai boxer in the world, everyone would tell you. I called him out, big mistake, he took my belt. But now, I want to be the best, so I've got to beat the best. And to lose the belt against him the first time, it was a bit controversial. I thought I won, he won obviously, and it was devastating. I was heartbroken, but I didn't let it get to me too much. They offered me the rematch. I turned it down. I said, I'm not ready yet. I turned it down. I trained for an extra 2-3 months, got my head right again. I said, yeah, I'm ready now. And then I had the rematch, and he defeated me by TKO in the second round. But my mind wasn't really there, you know, it wasn't really there. I don't know why, I can't explain, but I was devastated. But now I'm on my way back. Just got my first win back from off that loss against Taki Nato. 2 more wins, I'd say, and I'll get that belt back. So, you know, a lot of people talk about, like, obviously the early portion of your career, you're winning a lot and it's giving you that confidence. But with a loss, it gives you, for me, like, when you lose something, it sometimes gives you more motivation. Like, what did it like? Like, did it light a fire inside you once that happened? So, I've had 3 losses. I've learned more than them on them 3 losses than I have any of the wins, you know. So I lost 1, I came back stronger, I won. I lost another 1, got signed to One Championship. So it opened up doors for me.
made me realise as well, like, I am beatable, and I'm coming up against the best in the world now. So I need to up my game, and more fire. I'm a light. I'm a light. I'm on fire.
Well, how would people apply that to their normal day-to-day lives? Like, do you think that's something that they can use, the negative stuff that happens to them?
Yeah, you know, sometimes there's setbacks, minor setbacks, major comebacks. That's one of my sayings. So if anything's going wrong, it's hard to say don't worry about it, but things will get right, fit into place. Just keep going strong.
So beyond getting that belt back, is there any other goals in your mind? Like the major goals, whatever it is there anything there?
Yeah, to be the best MMA fighter in the world and to be known. You know, I want to be walking in places and everyone's like, that's that guy, that's Jonathan. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want, that's what I'm working for. You know, to be the best.
How would you describe yourself when you're in the ring?
Evil. Aggressive. If I'm on you, I'm on you. But yeah, outside of the ring, I'm the nicest man in the world.
So inside the ring, so when you say evil, like what's the thoughts that goes on in your mind when you're inside the ring? What are you trying to do?
I'm hitting to hurt. I want to take you out every shot. I want to take you out. I want to hurt you severely. It's as evil as it sounds, but it's the reality of it. But after the fight, we can be friends, whatever. But when we're in that ring, it doesn't matter who it is. It's game time. What's
the risk in Muay Thai? Like in terms of like when you're talking about hurting somebody, like, you know, that serious implications. Like is there like high risk when getting in the ring? I
think any sport there's really a high risk, but with Thai boxing it's brutal. Every time you step in that ring, there's not a possibility you could step back out and putting your life on the line, because it is brutal. I'm fighting the best in the world. I'm fighting people with 300 fights that know how to punch, that know how to elbow. It's no joke, so you need to be fully prepared. So I advise, if you was to do it, you need to be fully prepared.
At the top end, does that happen? Like people don't step back out the ring, has that happened before?
I think mainly in boxing it's happened a few times. Mainly in boxing, you can get seriously hurt. It's a sport where it's all or nothing.
And your family around you, like, do they support that, knowing that you're willing to do that?
Yeah, my mum supports it, my dad supports it, everyone supports it. My mum's like my #1 fan as well. She's always ringside. You know, some mums are like, oh no, but she loves it. She flew to Singapore, she loves it.
So how important is it to get a group of people around you that's going to do that for you?
It's very important. You need a group of people, you know. It's a lonely sport as it is, being in there on your own fighting. So having a team around you to motivate you when you're feeling down, you know. I felt down before in training. My trainer, Christian Knowles, like, he'll just put an extra life in you if you're feeling down. Motivates you. You need a team behind you that are really willing to push you.
So beyond the team, what else is motivating you?
The 1 championship belt.
Would you say that's an obsession?
Obsession, I'm obsessed. I think that's the belt, that is obviously the belt that everybody wants, and I've had and I've lost. So I want it more than anything now, again. I
mean, just talking in a generic sense, how would you tell somebody to deal with failure yourself? I mean, you've obviously dealt with it very well, yeah. Yeah,
I failed. Just keep going, just keep aiming for it, you know, keep digging away at it. You fail, you get back, do what you do best. And if you want it as much as you say you want it, you will get it. You know, I want this belt as much as I want it, and I'll do everything I can to go and get that belt back. If it means getting up at 5 in the morning, 12K runs, it's got to be done.
What is your opinion of failure itself?
I don't believe in failure. It's lessons learned, in it, really. And you fail, it's a learning curve. It's another opportunity to get back and win.
You're just talking about your routine as well then. What's a day look like?
Do you know what? I'd love you to be in my house now, because last night I sellotape my routine to as soon as I wake up, I look to the side and there's my routine. From eating to training.
You'll have to send us a photo.
I'll send you the photo. It's just, my routine's crazy.
Just go for it.
So sometimes I don't even rest, there's no rest. But now I've learned to listen to my body. So I train 3 times a day. I run 13K every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Pads twice a day. Not only doing that, it's to where I travel to. I travel from like here to here to here, then to here to here to here. It's got to be done. I've got 3 gyms I train at here, Knowles Academy and Kettle's gym. I've been with them for years. They're my main trainers and I'll never leave them.
What sort of dedication, if somebody said, I want to get 1 championship, want to be at the top, how would you, if you was to not put them off, but tell them the truth of what it takes to get to that level, how would you describe that?
Sacrifice. And if you're young, the most downfall is your friends, if they invite you out. That was with me, I turned everything down. I missed out on sort of partying life. Sacrifices, I stopped everything to get to where I wanted to be. And it paid off. You know, you do need to sacrifice. You can't do partying or whatever. You need to be level-headed on one goal. So if I said that to 99% of young kids, you know what I mean, young men, I don't think they will be able to see past that. What was different about yourself to be able to turn down partying and friends? So I think the main thing was my behalf, my parents. You know, they pushed me. I don't think without them, I maybe would have done something else. My dad built a gym for basically me and my brothers and sisters. We all train here. So it's basically, I was just in the gym from a young age, so that was it really. I had no choice but to succeed in the fighting world.
You spoke about your dad quite a few times, so yeah, what's your dad like?
He's very, he knows where he wants me to be, and he guided me the right path, and yeah, he's a role model to me. Yeah, he's a role model. Without him, I don't think anything could have happened. Wow,
I mean, that's amazing. So, I mean, looking forward, so you spoke about MMA. What outside of the sport, is there anything that you're doing outside of the sport at the moment?
This is basically my life, mate. This is basically my life. Like, after this, obviously it comes with building a business, obviously building my own gyms, my own brands. But right now, the main focus is on the 1 championship belt. You can't do one or the other.
Okay, and motivation itself, like obviously with our channel, based on motivation a lot. When we're talking about motivation, there's obviously different types of it. You know, we can watch a motivational video or somebody can scream at us. But there's like, with the 1 championship belt, like this obsession that you've got, it's like an internal, like you say, fire. Yeah. What in your mind is the most important kind of motivation that you're using at the moment?
It's the belt again, you know, it's that 1 championship belt, that's the main motivation. I think the whole company, 1 championship, everybody wants to be on that, you know, everybody's screaming, I want to be on 1 championship. And at such a young age that I got on it, on that big stage, that motivated me the most. You know, people look up to me, young kids now. I train a group of young kids. I've got a few world champions, 14-year-olds. They look up to me, I'm their role model. So that pushes me on more, you know, for them to see what I can do and so they can achieve that as well.
I mean, it's not been a smooth ride, I'm guessing, right? So tough days, how are you getting through them?
Sleep. Tough days, just grit my teeth really, you know, and just think tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow will be better, and I'll have that 1 championship belt in no time.
Is that it?
I'm obsessed.
No, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, seriously, that's it. You know, that's the belt that everybody wants. You know, and I'm a fighter, and that is the pinnacle of Muay Thai. So why not be obsessed to getting that belt? I don't think there's nothing wrong with it.
So again, but back to the family thing again. So that's obviously a really important thing to you. I mean, just over the past, how long have you been doing Muay Thai now for?
17 years.
17 years. So how much has that been a help over the last 17 years?
Family-wise, yeah, it's helped a lot. You know, my family's very gym orientated. We're in the gym all the time. My mum works in the gym. My dad works in the gym. My little brother's a fighter. My 2 sisters, fighters. Well, they're not really fighters, but they can fight. Yeah, we're very gym orientated, and I think that's helped me a lot. You know, like after school, my dad having the gym after school. Some kids got nowhere to go, so they choose wrong options. I had the gym to go to, just to chill out in the gym, being around fighters, being around motivated people, helped a lot.
I'm just going to go, like, these are more again for sound bites, but like key words. Just whatever you, it's not like a quick fire thing, but like whatever you think of it. So the first word's fear, like how would you describe it and how would you overcome it?
When I think of fear, I think of my body shaking, adrenaline, and like scared. To overcome it, just block it out. Just block it out. Like I said, getting in that ring is very fear. It's a lot of fear, and getting past that. I need fear to fight. I fight better with fear.
Sacrifice.
Friends, blocking out a lot of things that you could be doing fun-wise, but you need to have your priorities straight and be where you want to be.
How much sacrifice was made for your first belt upstairs?
A lot. 12-week fight camp. It was hard. It was very hard. Body was broken. And I just had to get on with it. I knew I was going to win, so that's what pushed me on.
Pain, like, again, how do you feel about the word pain, and like, how do you deal with it? I mean, obviously, it's not exactly a pain-free sport. I
deal with it after the fight. In the fight, if you're feeling pain, you can't show that you're hurt. Otherwise, they'll capitalise on that. You need to just get on with it. After the fight, you can cry all you want.
So that just reminded me of the video of the belt. I think your friend was filming the belt, and it's on the bed. It's got blood on the belt. You're sat in the bed.
Still has the blood on it.
Has it still got the blood on it now? I'll film that upstairs. So I mean, that's the epitome of like what you're talking about right now.
So after that fight, I broke my nose. My feet were mangled. My elbows, I couldn't straighten them. I was feeling a lot of pain after the fight, but when I had the belt wrapped around me, like, it took the pain away. So, like, for instance, I got rushed into hospital on a hospital bed, and I was hurt, a lot hurt, and my trainer, I said, I had my belt on me, and then my trainer took it off. I said, no, I need that belt. Yeah, I feel pain-free when I've got that around me. So yeah, so as soon as I got the belt back, that was all right.
So just specifically on that bed with the belt at your feet, was it worth it?
100%. And do you know what made it the better? They wheeled in my opponent on the other hospital bed. And he doesn't speak English, obviously, he's from Thailand, Samay. We both looked at each other and went like that. And it was a war. It was a great fight.
Back to Thailand as well, is like, how would you describe being in Thailand? What's a fight camp like, or training camps like when you're in Thailand?
So I've only ever had one fight camp in Thailand. I do tend to have my fight camps over here. I prefer them over here. I have everything I need over here. I've had one fight camp over there and I hated it. And I was just hot. I was losing too much weight. And I went out there on my own when I was 17 for 3 weeks. And I hated it. I honestly did. I felt better over here.
Is it? I mean, it sounds like your life like revolves around this, like completely.
It literally has. I've never had a job.
Really?
It's growing up as a kid, it's always been fighting. My dad obviously looked after me from when I was growing up. Never done a job all my friends done, and I just went straight into fighting, and then it started paying off. And I started looking after myself, and then that was it really.
So what percentage of your day is based on fighting?
So when I'm in camp, I'd say it's 90%. The last 10% is when I'm at home at night, chilling, watching telly. When I'm not in camp, I still train twice a day, but it's not too hardcore. I can eat what I want, and I do like to socialise. I do go out a few times. I am human. I do like to go out. Restaurants, I love a restaurant. You heard of the new one? What's it called? Nutsery.
No, I've not. No.
Not seen it.
Oh,
the guy, Salt Bay guy.
Yeah, I have heard about it.
I have to go there, man.
Yeah, I'm good for that. Yeah. I'm good for that. It's a bit steep.
Yeah, it is. Well, you got a one-off thing now.
Last question then. Looking forward 5 years, like in terms of one championship, where do you see yourself?
I'll sign an MMA contract with one, 2022. I would also do Muay Thai, and I'll be the Muay Thai world champion and the MMA One Championship world champion.
Within 5 years, you think?
Before that.
Really?
Yeah,
Love it.
2 years.
Where's the best place that people can find you?
In the gym. As in what sort of?
Like social media? You do social media?
Yeah, so best place to find me is probably Instagram, jhaggy_. Currently just in the works of getting my TikTok verified and my Facebook. I'm not really too much on them, but I have to be now, I've been told to.
And the next fight coming up?
Next fight is 20th of November in Ireland. ISK world title against Arthur Meyer.
How do you see that going?
KO round 2.